For example 2, we're rewriting our literal equations to solve each formula for the given variable. So in letter A, it says that we want r by itself. Okay, so if we look here, we have r times t. The big idea, remember, is that if you are adding something, then the opposite would be subtracting it. If you are multiplying, then the opposite would be dividing. So in this case, we are multiplying r to t. And so the opposite of that would be divide the t. And we chose the t because we want r to stay. That's what we said. Solve for r. So the t's, they cancel, making 1. Okay, so we have r left over, and then d over t. So when I rewrite it, I personally rewrite it as the letter that's by itself is first. So r equals d over t. So in part B, our goal is to get the w by itself. Okay, I divide both sides by w, and L equals a over w. Most times you'll see L as a cursive letter, just so it doesn't look like a 1 or an I. Okay, so we have L equals a over w. And in this lesson, anytime you are given a lowercase letter, you're going to keep it lowercase. If it's uppercase, you're going to leave it at uppercase, like I did here. In letter C, we have C equals 2 times pi times r. So I know that that is being multiplied on this side. And my goal is to get pi by itself. So I'm going to divide by 2r on both sides. So the 2 divided by 2 is 1. It cancels, and that cancels. So you're left with pi. But now we have that equals c over 2r. For letter D, we want to get p by itself. So we have p times r times t. Since this is all being multiplied, we are dividing both sides by both variables. So p equals I over RT. So for all of these, we used multiplication, or the problem was being multiplied, and then the opposite of that is that we actually divided by variables or numbers to get the variable by itself. If you look at the bottom part here, E through H, we have a little bit of a different situation. In these, we have some fractions. So to get B by itself, we have a couple things we need to do. One, we need to clear the fraction, which we have discussed a couple different times in the class. So our denominator is 2, so we're going to multiply both sides by 2. Okay? And so if I do that, that gives me a 2a here. And then these 2's cancel out. So you're left with 1bh. Now, you also should know that if you have a 1 in front of your variables, it's implied, meaning that we know it's there. We don't have to see that. So I'm just going to write BH. I know there's a 1 there. Okay, it's just invisible. So if my goal is still to get the B by itself, I have a times H here. So the opposite of that would be divide by the H. So this gives me B equals 2A over H. Alright, for letter F, this is very similar to E. We just have a number bigger than 1 in our numerator, 4. So our goal is to get J by itself. And I still want to clear the fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. So this gives me 5 times m is 5m. This clears out, and we have a 4jk. Now I had to write the j because We wouldn't know it's 4 unless it was there. So our goal is still to get that j by itself. So in this case, to get j, we have to divide by 4 and k. So this means we would have j equals 5m over 4k. Then for the bottom two, it says here that we want L by itself. So the opposite of this L divided by W is multiplying both sides by W. So these W's cancel, and we have WV equals L. Okay. And then over here for H, the same exact method. We have M divided by B, so we're going to multiply both sides by B, and that gives us BA equals N.